One of the most common tools to enhance and increase the expanse of our network and to be more effective in whichever role you are, whether it's business development or sales or marketing or operations, whatever it may be, is the tool of networking. We typically go to conferences so that we can meet new people and engage in deep conversations with them around our industry, our function, the professional issues that we may face, and it may even give rise to professional opportunities. So, how does this work? Typically, what we end up doing is going to a meeting, an event, a conference, and exchanging cards. That has been the traditional and the most common way of introducing yourself to somebody and getting to know somebody, keeping their contact details safely stored with you and yours safely with them, in the hope that whenever you need something, you will be able to call them or reach out to them. And in the same manner, if they find you of some use to them, they will be able to call you or reach out to you. But how often does that happen in practice? What is the typical life cycle of a conversation that happens at a networking conference after exchange of cards? Maybe exchange some pleasantries, talk about what you are doing professionally, what they are doing, whatever the speaker was speaking about, the common issues in the industry. It all makes for a very engaging conversation. But guess what happens after that? The visiting card goes into a bundle. It could get scanned, it could, through some automation, be automatically fed into a CRM system and be there in your database. Some smart marketers may even have automation routines built on top of these visiting cards so that an automatic emailer goes out. But what happens is not what you intended to go to the conference for. Your intention was that you should find some people who are able to help you in any of your objectives, whether it is gaining knowledge, meeting new people, looking for opportunities. If you're a sales guy, looking for a lead, a qualified lead, being able to convert that lead. But have you been able to achieve your objective? If this is not working out, and you know for yourself if it has or hasn't, you just take a pause, rewind, and look back at all the tens or hundreds of conferences that you may have visited and think of when was the last time you actually got in touch with somebody and you were able to get something out of a chance meeting at a conference. Even if there are one or two instances, there wouldn't be many. So what I'm about to tell you will help you maximize the value that you can get out of such chance meetings. Here are a few tips in no particular order. Let's look at the basic introduction. Instead of just exchanging cards, can we exchange our contact details in a way that it becomes meaningful? Typically, the business cards would end up in a pile, or at the maximum, they would get scanned and added or appended to a CRM database. So, how do we go beyond this? One of the most commonly used methods through which we reach out to people and get in touch with them is through our phone. So, the first thing we need to do is ensure that we add the person right there and then to our contact list. This way, the person will be accessible, and by making sure that you give the other person a missed call or a text message, the other person is also able to save your number. If you need something from them, do not expect that they will key in your number. What you should be doing is you should be keying the person's number and saving it in your contact details and ensuring that your contact details are saved in the other person's device as well. The second thing you need to do is ensure that the contact that is there in the phone book is in the active space. How do you activate a contact which would have otherwise been inert? If you look at your phone book, for instance, you would find that if there are thousands of contacts, you would probably be regularly in touch with not more than a few hundred. How do you expand that reach and make sure that your currently active list goes beyond that number? The trick here is to drop a text message, or even better, if WhatsApp is the messaging tool that people most commonly use in your context, it may be any other tool, but I'm just using WhatsApp as an example. Send a message over WhatsApp introducing yourself, ensuring that the other person, even if they haven't saved your name and number right there because they might be busy or maybe too lazy or may just not be interested in that level of networking. But what it does is it ensures that whenever they are looking at that chat in WhatsApp, they know who is the person who's contacted them. And even at a later point in time, when they probably have the inclination and time, they can save your contact number. So let's take it up another notch. So we've had two instances of how you can graduate from merely exchanging business cards, scanning them, putting it into your CRM. The first one is ensuring that it is in your contact list. The second method is to ensure that from the contact list, it moves into the active domain by getting into an active messaging channel. So, having done these two things, the third thing, which is most important, is the follow up post the meeting. So, typically in any event, not just you, but the other person is also meeting tens of people, or maybe in larger events, hundreds of people. They would have interesting conversations. They would probably barely just remember your name or what you spoke about. If you are a good conversationalist, maybe that impression lasts longer, but it certainly won't last beyond a couple of days or a couple of hours after the event is over. So, how do you ensure that the impression that you made on the person is everlasting? And the converse is also true. If you need something from somebody, you need to make sure that they are in your active memory for a longer period of time. The way to do it is to immediately after the event spend about half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, whatever it takes. But this investment in time is going to be worth its weight in gold. So, what you need to do is recollect whatever it is that you spoke with the other person, check out the profile of the person that you spoke with, maybe their LinkedIn profile, and figure out something of value and send it to them in the WhatsApp chat that you just initiated. This will ensure that the conversation you had with them jumps up in their memory because they have just spoken with you maybe a day ago. They are able to recollect it vividly. And since they are able to recollect that conversation, your name, your face, they might also get curious. They might go ahead and check your LinkedIn profile, connect on LinkedIn. And because of that recollection, which happens 24 hours after the meeting, that memory will be etched deeper into their brain as compared to the memory of meeting the other hundreds of people. So, this will ensure that you are top of mind for that person. And by doing this, you will essentially ensure that you've jumped up the ladder when it comes to the other 100 people who are vying for attention of that decision maker or stakeholder you want to engage with. Not only that, the other person has a very positive impression of you on two counts. Firstly, that this person is interested in me, he remembers me, he remembers the conversation I had. Not only am I important to the other person, but secondly, the person has gone out of the way to add some value to the conversation that we had, and it was not just a casual conversation or just exchanging cards with each other. Because you've done something for the other person, they will be under a mental obligation to return the favor whenever they can. You don't need to ask for that favor immediately, of course. That would be very transactional. What you're trying to do here is build a relationship. And that is the first step, the first investment that you made in building that relationship. And believe me, if you sow the seeds, this will certainly grow into a tree or a sapling at some point in time. And if you sow more and more of these seeds, they will get you into a forest of plenty and abundance in the area of networking. Hope that is of help to you and you're able to incorporate some of these thoughts, these action plans, tips, and strategies into what you're doing, and it will expand the value of your network. So if you've liked this video, do not just leave this video without engaging with the channel, with the other people who may be watching this video after you. Leave your comments behind on this video. Talk about what you have been doing earlier in these networking events and how this might potentially help you. Not only that, come back to this video maybe after a few months or a few days when you've attended an event and incorporated some of these tips and talk about how this actually helped you. This will ensure that once you're giving back to the community, what goes around comes around, and the vibes will definitely come back and affect you in a positive way. So with that, thank you.